Hello, welcome to Untapped Libraries. Just giving a shout out to anyone who pronounces it library. We see you, and it's time for magic.
I'm Vinny,
And I have the name Neil.
and our favorite berry is library.
Yeah, exactly. And we take an ambience
Yeah,
made of
aluminium
aluminum.
in the month of February.
Yep.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
I always have trouble with I have to, when I'm spelling it out, I have to literally say out loud February
Yes, yeah.
because there's an R in there. It's real sneaky.
It's a sneaky month.
It's the sneakiest of the months. It's short, so it hides.
It's not as sneaky to me as November and December, which,
Wait, why?
well, because they sound like they should be the 9th and 10th
But
months.
they are the 9th and 10th months of the Roman calendar.
Yes, of the Roman calendar
Yeah.
before they added 2 months in.
Correct.
August and
July.
Yeah.
For Augustus and Julius.
And they sabotaged
They really ruined
everyone for centuries.
There's a French calendar, like the French love decimalizing things. And
Yeah.
There's a French calendar with like 10
That's-
months of like 28 days, and they have it's like a real metric looking calendar.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
It would be such a hassle to change,
Well,
though.
it's hard to get people to change anything.
It'd be nice to just switch some months around, so that
Oh,
December would actually
okay.
be the 10th and
Oh, interesting.
October would be the 8th.
I mean, people won't even go for that. People don't even like daylight savings time where there's like an hour change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it.
That's true. I think we should talk about magic for a
Sure.
little bit. You just came back from
Magic Spotlight Toronto.
Yeah. How was your trip there?
I had a great time. Yeah, me and my son, we drove down on the Friday. We were there pretty much all day Saturday and then drove back that night because we wanted to host a Super Bowl party the next day. So that was a fun weekend. But I had a great time.
I was invited, but I said no. I was like,
it's
I can't.
understandable. It's a very short turnaround.
It's too much for a 5-6 hour drive.
Yeah. But we had a great time. I met so many cool artists. Managed to play a little bit of Commander.
Yep.
Saw so many cool vendors and creators wandering around. So many great outfits. And I've never been in a room where 2,000 people are playing Magic the Gathering at the same time.
No, definitely.
That's something.
Never seen more than maybe 200.
Yeah. It was kind of like, as far as the eye could see, just people playing draft. It's amazing. Or limited.
Nice. And we made a token.
And we made a token. Yeah, and I gave it out.
And we made like 180
I made 100
of them.
and I gave out 6.
6. Nice.
I just didn't meet enough people. That's okay. I was just in awe of what was happening.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But I had a great time. It's really cool. If you ever get a chance to go to one of these things, and you never have, even if you're not participating, I mean, you can participate. It looks like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Although playing 8 rounds of limited in one day, that's a long day.
Yeah,
I
that's too much for
have
me.
a pre-release is my speed.
Yeah.
3 rounds of 0 stakes.
Speaking of pre-releases, when this episode comes out, I believe Ninja Turtles will have pre-released.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Which is a little crazy to me. It hit so fast. I feel like Lorwyn is still...
I'm still
digesting. Yeah.
No. It's the schedule. It is what it is. Do you regret not having gone to Toronto? Or you're like,
no,
well, that was wise for me not to go?
No. For lots of reasons. I had a lot of personal stuff going on too.
Yeah, that's fair.
So my wonderful dog is sick and he's not doing well. And he's 100 pounds of rambunctiousness and he's a lot to deal with. So yeah, that was what
I love Ashley.
Ashley's the best. Oh, I had a magic story that I want to talk about.
Hit me. I need to hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to start somewhere and I'll end somewhere completely different. Okay.
Great. That's the best story.
So we just had a Commander banner restricted announcement.
Yes.
One of the key things that happened was Biorhythm was unbanned.
Yes.
And also Farewell was game changer.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Your favorite card.
Yeah, I hate this card. I'm so happy it's game changer.
Right.
I actually think that's the perfect place for it.
Yeah, sure.
So I also had another thought about Farewell. It came out in Kamigawa. And it was one of the last arts that Seb McKinnon made.
Okay.
Seb McKinnon is a Montreal-based artist.
Okay.
I love his art,
Yes.
but he appeared at the Trucker Convoy.
Right in Ottawa.
And shortly thereafter, his magic contracts seemed to have dried up.
Sure.
And I always wondered, was it like a cheeky art director who was like, I'm going to give you Farewell as your last card.
That seems a little.
A little dramatic.
Maybe a little conspiracy theory, Neil.
Maybe a little bit, but this is a fun conspiracy theory, not one of those horrible
light
ones.
and fun conspiracy theories being traded. Yeah, why not?
Also, he did a forest in Dominaria United, so.
Okay. And so now he lives in a forest. Oh my God, it's all coming together.
Oh my gosh, it's all coming together. Okay, so second story that I want to talk about.
Okay, is this related to the first?
Yes.
Great.
So this week there is a Olympic gold medal figure skater named Amber Glenn.
Yes.
And the Magic world adopted her basically as it's like when you're Canadian.
You know when there's a Canadian.
You're like Jim Carrey, he's Canadian, just so you know. So Amber Glenn sort of became that for Magic, right?
Right.
So there was a micro controversy with Amber Glenn that I have not seen anyone in the Magic community talk about.
Is she playing farewell?
She was
farewells.
So she was accused of using music during her routine without permission.
Okay.
The musician was Seb McKinnon.
Not the same artist.
The same artist.
Get out.
Yes. No, I won't get out.
Okay.
This is an actual story.
Whoa, that's shocking.
Yeah. So Seb McKinnon, farewell, and
it's this whole Magic storm.
It's Seb McKinnon is back, and Amber Glenn is, I don't know,
doing music for Magic playing figure skaters.
Exactly.
I guess if you can't do art for Magic cards,
you
can make
you do the next best thing.
The next best thing, which is music for Magic playing figure skaters. I guess that's a natural follow up.
Yep. So, anyways, that's my little long rant. I haven't seen anyone talk about it. I thought it was just a funny little coincidence.
Wild. All right. Now we've come full circle.
We've really come full circle.
I think it's time for our guest. Shall we say hello?
Yep. So if you enjoy pants, you might enjoy this deck. We have this week Maria
from Good Luck High Five.
Yeah, come on down.
Come on down, Maria.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, it's so calming listening to your voices. I have to say, it's just like this could be a meditative podcast, just laying back on the couch, getting some rest and rejuvenation. Listening to is just a lovely experience.
Oh, thank you. We're like the cozy fiction of podcasts.
Yeah,
you're just like sit back with your hot chocolate, listen
Cottage
to us talk
core.
about we'll talk about casting costs and mana curves.
I love it because Megan and I have often been called the click and clack of MTG podcast. The car talk, we're just loud, we're screaming, we're yelling at each other, and you two are just like the opposite. It's just lovely. It's just a lovely transition for me.
We aim to soothe.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a very sleepy person in general in my vibe.
I don't think that's
I feel
true.
like
you feel like a sleepy. Well, you're laid back. I don't know if I call you sleepy.
I have like several times had to try to convince people that I'm not a pothead because they're like, "You're so relaxed," and I'm like, not a pothead.
You don't need chemicals for it, man. You're just naturally laid back,
naturally potted up, naturally high, high on life.
All right, well, that's it. Well, thanks for joining us. Obviously, we're huge fans of you and Megan's podcast, Good Luck High Five, Commander Arcade, really fun stuff. But we brought you here to talk about a Magic creation that's special to you. So what have you brought for us today?
Yes. So you all, when you contacted me, asked me to bring a deck that was special to me in some way. And the first one that popped into my head was not a Commander deck or anything like that, but rather a deck that I played in Standard back in 2019.
Nice.
Very random, I know. And for some reason, it's just stuck with me all of these years, I think, as one of the most fun Standard decks I've ever played. It's emblematic of my play style. A lot of people might know me as the Boggle Queen. Boggles was my first constructed deck I ever played in Magic in a modern Grand Prix back in the day. And this deck is very reminiscent of Boggles in a way in Standard that, we hardly ever get that kind of deck in Standard. And I don't think I've ever seen a deck in Standard like this since. And I'm just waiting for the day that we get something like this again, and I will be in the Standard queues and nonstop. This is Blue-White Auras from 2019 Standard, heavily featuring Amonkhet in a lot of its cards. So that's the deck. It's weird. Nobody played it except for me, really, but it was great, and it was super fun.
Nice. Those are my favorite decks when it's like nobody does it except for me. it's such a great place to be. I also love Standard. It feels like it's sort of the cutting edge. People are always brewing up new things. And auras is a tricky archetype because you don't want to get 2 for 1. You don't want to lose your creature and the aura, then you're out.
Yeah, 2 cards for 1.
2 rectangles for 1 rectangle. Not
Bad
the
rectangle
Absolutely.
deal.
You have to be brave to play auras, I always say. And this deck is kind of interesting in that it plays into that a lot. You play one way, basically, just all gas, no brakes with this deck, which I also loved about it. I played this deck at a Grand Prix in Seattle, and I went 10-5 with it, which means it was one of the decks that I used to make
Amazing.
day 2 in my Magic career. So I was very proud of that at the time. I beat a friend
you should be.
for day 2, and he was very salty about it, which is also a point of pride that I have for myself. And I played this deck in camera, so it was a feature match, and it was commentated on by Seth Manfield, now 2-time world champion Seth Manfield. I went back and I was so nervous playing in the feature match area. It was one of the only times that I've done that. And Seth was commenting my game, right? And I'm like, oh my God, is he going to be like, what is she doing with that play or whatever? But at the end of the match, he said she played it exactly the way that I would have played it. And I've just never been prouder.
That's so nice.
That's like winning a trophy
that's like
right
taking on the
there.
whole Grand Prix for me to hear that. So that was, I don't know, it's just always stuck with me as a very, very special deck and moment for myself as a Magic player. That tournament was wild. There's a completely different deck that dominated the whole tournament. It was a combo with Combat Celebrant, God Pharaoh's Gift, giving yourself multiple attacks, I want to say, something like that. So this deck, it couldn't hold up on day 2 with those kinds of like tier 1 strategies, which had just been discovered right before the tournament. But all of that being said, it still holds a very special place in my heart, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's just a blast to play as well, which is not something you can always find in a standard format, which has to be pretty streamlined and competitive in order to do well.
So let's walk through this deck. Who are the superstars of this UW Auras?
Oh man, so I made a video about this deck back in 2019. If anybody wants to find it, and watching it's kind of a trip because I was so excited. I had to make a deck tech, and I didn't do that all the time back then. But the reason for the season in this deck is SRAM, Senior Edificer, which is also coincidentally a card I love in any format. We'll put him in any commander deck. Get in. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a white. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card.
So this was also a time when white was basically not allowed to draw cards. So this is kind of a big deal. It was like, white, you could actually draw some cards, believe it or not.
Yeah, Megan would be very upset about the fact that it's not only
White,
blue that gets to draw cards. That's why she gets mad about that. But yeah, white in this deck helping you to draw cards with the aid of blue, of course, with some of the auras that I'll mention. But SRAM is what the deck is based around. Almost every card in this deck is a 4 of. The only one that's not is a vehicle. But yeah, it can just super power out your draw engine that you have in this deck. And doing it with creatures is also my style. So we're not using spells. No, to draw our cards. But the other card that I have to highlight, because it reminds me, I mentioned Slippery Boggle, is Adanto Vanguard. And this card has been, I think I would point to it as my favorite Magic card. That's not Slippery Boggle.
Okay.
In that it acts a lot like a Boggle. It does everything I want. I'll read it. 1 and a white for a 1/1. Vampire Soldier. I also love vampires, so vampires is my favorite creature type. As long as Adanto Vanguard is attacking, it gets +2/+0, so it attacks for 3. But the crucial part is you can pay 4 life to give it indestructible until end of turn.
Right.
And
nice.
I love cards like this that have an interesting decision point trade-off for you. So you have to say, am I willing to pay 4 life? That's a big chunk of my life total in order to keep this attacker around on the battlefield and alive. And I really like when Magic does interesting design spaces like that force you to make a decision about what happens to your creature. Like, what's the cost-benefit analysis of
It's not all
keeping
just
it around.
upside. There's actual downsides, and you have to choose.
Yes.
Would you say like paying that 4 life was one of the tougher decisions this deck has to make?
You always pay it, so no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, sure, I'm sure there were some times when I was like, ooh, I don't know. But like, the point is, you pay it. You be paying that life.
Right. Yeah. You got to spend that life. What's the point?
Also, Adanto Vanguard probably has like 3 or 4 auras on it, so
Yes.
you don't want to lose those auras.
That makes
Yes,
sense.
exactly. I'll go through the creatures and then talk about how we're actually going to be drawing the cards, if that makes
Yes,
the most
please.
sense
Yeah.
in the
Great.
story of this deck. Adorned Pouncer is a kitty cat in this deck. This deck has 2 cats. I love cats. I also have 2 cats. So also big draw for me personally, emotionally. Adorned
gotta say-
Pouncer. What a cutie.
Both of your cats look like one of my cats.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to share cat pictures.
Little Jeffy is a little black weirdo goblin cat. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I love goblins. All cats are goblins, really.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think.
sense.
Adorn Pouncer is a 1/1 with double strike. And if you remember this mechanic from Amonkhet back in the day, it has Eternalize on it, which if it goes to the graveyard, you can make it come back, except it's a 4/4 black zombie, but it has all the same abilities, so this has double strike. So this kitten's got claws once you bring it
yeah,
back
Right.
from the
4/4 double strike.
graveyard.
That ain't bad.
That's serious. Yeah.
Not half bad. And you also have the twin mechanic Embalm on our next creature, which is Sacred Cat, which is a 1/1 lifelinker and Embalm for a single white, and it comes back the same. It's just the same card, but it's a token, a white zombie cat. So it's a similar kind of ability, but it's nice to have cards like that. You can see that I have ways to protect them or recur them built into all of the creatures. Adonda Vanguard, Adorn Pouncer, and Sacred Cat all have the ability to, if your opponent's going to mess with them, kill them because they're wearing a bunch of pants or auras or whatever. You can still like get them back and recur them, with the exception of SRAM, but he's a very special boy in his own way. So yeah, all the creatures are doing their job of sticking around, being hard to kill when they're wearing all of their fancy hats.
Or pants, as you call them. I've actually never heard the word pants for auras.
Oh, really?
Before.
It
Yeah.
totally makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of. I don't know.
What would you call them? Scarves?
I mean,
Hats?
I don't know. Pants just feel like more essential. Like I just assume everyone's wearing pants. These are like accessories. Like
Oh,
yeah,
like-
hats or scarves or
Okay.
yeah, something more like
Like
that.
a necklace?
I
yeah,
see.
bracelet.
Oh, I see.
But I have to point out, Aboggle is not wearing any clothes.
Okay.
He's
Yes,
not
true, the
wearing
animals
pants.
don't.
No
Yeah, yeah,
pants.
yeah.
Sure.
But he does have a very special crown that he wears as well. So that's a crown. That's a crown. But yeah,
Love it.
pants.
Adanto Vanguard has pants on in the artwork. Just,
He does.
Just saying.
Yeah, and a very nice
We're
card.
not sure about SRAM. He's standing at a table.
We can't see underneath.
We
don't
could
the
know.
table.
assume that he's probably wearing pants, but maybe he's
No.
casual. Maybe he's like in a Zoom meeting.
Think about it like when I'm at the news desk at the Pro Tour. Like you can only see the top half of me. I might not be wearing
Right.
pants.
Sure.
The cats aren't wearing pants. So,
The cats
okay,
aren't,
well,
yeah.
let's go with pants.
Oh yeah.
I like that metaphor.
I'm down. Okay. So what are some of the pants that get put on these?
So some of the pants that
creatures.
we're double pantsing or first pantsing some of our creatures with.
Wait, pantsing is a
First
different
pantsing.
verb. we have to be careful. Getting pantsed is a whole other.
Dressing. We're dressing them
Dressing in
up with.
pants. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
sorry,
dressing
I
them in
forgot one sneaky creature that's a land, which is Legion's Landing. This makes its way into
classic.
vampire decks, and I love this. It's an enchantment that makes a vampire when it comes in, and then once you attack with 3 or more creatures, it transforms into a land that can make more vampires for 2 and a white. I love that card. So that's another creature that you have access to in this deck as a 4 of, and also once it becomes a land, you can make 1,000,000 of them if you need to. But yeah, some of the pants we have are the best pants. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's so many best pants. They're all the best pants. Curious Obsession. Do we know this card? Do we love this card?
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good
Classic.
card. Yeah.
Single blue for an aura enchant creature gets +1/+1. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. The only quote unquote drawback is if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, you have to sacrifice it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be the creature wearing it. Any creature can attack. And as long as you did, you get to keep it. I love that. It's so cheap. It's a single blue.
A single blue is amazing.
Pumping it up, drawing cards. It's great. Cartouche of Solidarity. We have 2 different cartouche in this deck. This one is the single white that gives first strike, and it also makes a warrior. So it gives you that 1/1 as well. Another way to make more
Another
creatures to put pants
Sneaky
on.
little creature.
Yep. And Cartouche of Knowledge, which is 1 in a blue. It gives flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and gives the creature +1/+1 as
Gotta
well.
love draw a card. So you're drawing 2 cards of SRAM. Is that?
Oh, you absolutely are. Yes, 100%. And then if
love
you've
that.
also got Curious Obsession and you're hitting with that, then you're drawing more cards. Yeah, so you're just keeping the engine running.
So all the problems with 2-for-1ing are helped out because You're making little creatures, you're making tokens, you're drawing cards.
For sure, Curious Obsession and Cartouche are replacing themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the least.
Yeah, exactly. So your grip is very full all the time. You're cycling through the deck to find the things that you want. The only other card in this deck that's like not a creature or aura is Aethersphere Harvester, which was a 3 of. This vehicle was pretty cool back in the day and did see a lot of play in Standard, which is a 3/5 flyer that when it comes in, you get 2 energy. You pay an energy to give it lifelink until end of turn, and it has a crew cost of 1, which is the most crucial
Cost
part
of
of it.
1 is bananas for a
5
cost
lifelink.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And lifelink twice, so you're probably gaining 6 life if it sticks around.
I mean, you have to attack twice. You can't double stack.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
But it wouldn't. Lifelink, you can't. A creature with 2
It's only
lifelinks
what
only gains
only
it
one
once.
instant.
I know, but you still could activate it twice.
Okay, yes, you're right.
You could.
You're like,
It won't do
I
anything,
hate
but-
having this energy around.
Yeah,
Oh, why do I have
exactly.
2 energy?
Back in the day, gaining life in this standard format was important, and so having access to that was nice. It's an evasive threat. I really like evasion on my creatures because,
100%.
look, I don't want to think too much about math. I'm not a math person. I'm a tack person. I'm a vibes person.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
I'm
with you.
playing this game based on how I feel about what's going on, and that's just how I prefer to play. So I like creatures that have flying, that can't be touched, that have hexproof. So that's kind of the genesis of why I like to kind of play this sort of deck. The only other card that really deserves a mention and is the last card, which is which it was a full 4 of when I played this in this Grand Prix, was 4 copies of Spell Pierce, which is
Yeah.
insanity.
You said all gas but no brakes, but Spell Pierce arguably is brakes.
I suppose in this deck, its function is to let you put more weight on the gas pedal.
Gas. Yeah. Keep the
okay.
gas going.
Okay.
It's-
Protect.
Get stuff out of the way so you can gas.
Yes.
gas.
So in this standard environment, there were 3 big removal spells that were running around. One, which was Fumigate. I don't know if you know that one. Gets rid of everything. Vraska's Contempt was another one that was 4 mana that took care of creatures. There's one more that I'm forgetting, but basically the point was those are expensive spells. And so you've got all your cheap creatures and your auras that you're putting on your cheap creatures. You're attacking, their life total is probably fairly low at this point. And then they're like, it's fine. I had Fumigate in my opening hand. We're going to clean it up. We're going to gain life, whatever. But then you spell pierce them for a single blue, like Stone Aged them. They first of all, nobody was doing this. Like, people were not running this card. They were not expecting it from me. So when I did it, people's faces were just like,
Ruh-roh.
it just allowed you to continue your game plan. I mean, there's almost no way you can lose from that point if you're able to spell pierce a Fumigate. So it kept me safe as the tournament went on. It's just a blast. Like, what more do you want? You attack with creatures, you draw a card.
It seems like a super fun deck to run for sure, because you're just like, all right, full send. Here we go.
And you also have the advantage, like, they don't know what's coming, right?
Yeah, if you're playing like an off meta deck, for sure, that's kind of like one of the more dangerous types of decks to play, because all the meta decks, you're like, okay, I kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, they're gonna probably play this
yeah,
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
here are this. I know the creatures I need to remove and when. But once you go, off script, it's like a chess player going off book. They're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now we got to react to this. I don't have a plan.
Yeah, the element of surprise with those 4 spell pierces was certainly something I used to my advantage in this tournament, because people did know about this deck, but they weren't necessarily doing the spell pierce thing, which was kind of a little bit of Maria sauce in here. The thing about standard is that so often what ends up happening is that you put all the best cards in the format in the deck, right? And there can be different, decks, but generally it's just a lot of really, really powerful cards in a deck that ends up being very expensive, and that is just like you're playing the best stuff. And something that I love to see in standard is when we are able to use these cards, which are definitely not the best cards. A 1/1 life linker for 1 is not the best card that's been printed. I can say that with authority. Putting those cards in the deck and assembling a smoothie of various cards that support that and play with it. And when the deck comes together and runs correctly, it just feels like a beautiful dance as opposed to I'm just slapping down this mythic, I'm slapping down this rare that just happened to be a 4/4 for 2 mana or whatever. You know what I mean? So I like to see like creativity and synergy in deck building, which this deck has an identity. It has an image that it's projecting out onto the field when you're playing it. That's not just like Jund. Sorry, Jund shade, but you know what I mean.
Sorry, Jund.
Yeah, nowadays I feel like it's Llanowar Elf into Badger Mole Cub into Ouroboride.
You're right.
Basically,
exactly.
You're just like, I know exactly how this is going to pull out. If I don't have removal for the Ouroboride, I'm dead. If I do, I have a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like a deck that has a theme, and this deck definitely has a
definitely
theme.
does.
And it was one of the cheaper standard decks at the time, coming in around $80, which is super cheap for a full standard list.
How did you kind of like come up with all this stuff? Like, what were you like? Yeah, it's Sacred Cat. Wait, Cartouche, and then like you beautiful minded it all together.
I certainly did not invent this deck, so I stole it from somebody who somewhere had the idea, and then I just iterated on it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just one of those decks that stays with me of having that memory of playing it at that tournament. I played it also at some in-store tournaments, I want to say, too. And I got so familiar with it that I got better at playing, if that makes sense. So, like,
100%.
you know, when you've got one card in your deck and you're like, I'm up against the ropes. I'm dead. But, like, if I'm able to construct these next couple of turns in my favor and draw exactly what I need, that's my out and I can win the game. I knew this deck backwards and forwards so well. I haven't forgot it. There was a turn at a game store where I was playing in some kind of qualifying event, and I played correctly just exactly to my one out. I don't remember what it was or whatever, but I did it, and I drew the card, and I was like, oh my God. And it was one of those moments where you're like, my correct play and my planning and my practice and everything has paid off for this corner case where I've drawn it and I'm able to win. There is no better feeling in Magic when you know that you have constructed that to give yourself the win.
I love that.
So I could stereotype a Magic player, and I can stereotype someone
going,
sitting down in front of you and being like, "Oh, here's someone's playing like a cute cat deck. Oh, I think I'm gonna win. I think I think I got this." And then turns out it's a really good deck. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, do you feel like there was some underestimation going on in some of your games?
Well, I already had that, right? Because I'm a woman, so
Yep.
That was already present. Yeah, if I played down a cat and they were not familiar with that in standard or whatever, I'm sure that I got some people with that. And I'm not gonna lie, that's also a great feeling when you know you've been underestimated and then you outplay them.
I love that. That's amazing. So let's get some context into you playing this deck in the GP. Like, had you played previous GPs? Was this like playing standard, like on paper at tournaments, something you'd done before or had wanted to do? What's like kind of the history there?
Yeah, so Megan and I have been playing Grand Prix, which they don't exist anymore. The closest corollary these days is the Spotlight Series event. Back in the day, we went to them all the time. I commented at some of them. I was play-by-play for a number of years, which was really fun. But a grueling schedule. We would travel sometimes 2 to 3 weekends a month when we'd be going to various tournaments and casting. So I was very familiar with the Grand Prix life and all that. And I played in a lot of them. Not only were we going around playing them because it was fun, but we used them as an opportunity to tell people about our podcast, Good Luck High Five, and it was all of the above. This one, I believe, I could be wrong, was at the same time as a World Championship, which was also being held in Seattle. Megan was working at that tournament. And so, like, we stayed for a couple of weekends. There was that, and then we played this event as well, if I'm remembering right. But yeah, Grand Prix had been a huge part of my life for a long time. It was the first big Magic event I ever played, which was a modern Grand Prix, which is an insane statement. If you're like a brand new player and you're like, hey, how about your first tournament is modern?
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts. But that was the power of the Boggles deck. It's easy enough to pilot that you can just give somebody it on their first tournament. They understand how to play it. They might not understand the nuances of it, and with Boggles you really need to know what your opponent is doing, so that's the downside. But if you do, it's a really beginner friendly deck. But so that was my first tournament, and it was Boggles, and I did pretty well, quite honestly, all things considered.
And what year was that?
I started playing Magic in 2012, so I'm gonna guess I was sometime in 2013.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it had been a few years that I'd been playing these tournaments. I think I'd made one day two before this, so this is my second day two that I made,
Okay.
and I was really proud of that at the time. I remember going and hanging out at Marshall's house after this because he lives in Seattle, so
Hmm.
that's my other memory.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's so cool. Because I was at the Spotlight Series in Toronto on the weekend, and I just saw people playing round after round, and it looks so grueling. Like, I enjoy I'm like a fairly casual player. Like I said in the intro, the pre-release is like my speed. I'm
Yeah.
like, no stakes, 3 rounds. I'm like, and I get to go home
Yeah.
and have a hot chocolate. Great. But like playing at that level for that intensity, like what does it take to like succeed at a Grand Prix, like at that amount of like prep, concentration? Like what are the things that go into a successful Grand Prix weekend?
It is grueling, right? That's a lot of rounds of Magic, and it's what was it that this at the Spotlight? God, it was like 1,800 players or something
Yeah,
like that.
1,800 players. Yeah, they had
Wow.
started with 1,200, and then they opened up 600 more spots. Like, wow, people are really signing up, and then they all sold out. So it was 1,800 people
Wow.
in the actual event, and then there was like a zillion other people just playing like
Yeah.
fun stuff on the side. But in the actual event, it was 1,800 people for a limited event. It was incredible.
Wow.
That makes me so happy for a number of reasons. I love limited. That's my main
Mhm.
thing I love about Magic. But I'm a very competitive player.
Hmm.
I like playing competitive Magic. That's
Mm-hmm.
like my jam. And I'm, able to play casually too, but if I had my druthers, a competitive limited tournament is my happiest place. So a Grand Prix lets you feed that competitive edge of yourself when you're playing. Preparing for tournaments like this, it's just kind of like my happiest time of Magic, I think, because you're talking to your friends about it. You're like, we're going to this thing together. We're doing this communal activity. But we need to prepare for battle. So we're talking to each other. We're like, what do we think about this? What do we think about this choice? What are you
Yeah.
going to bring? Will you play test this against me on Magic Online or whatever we were doing at the time? Let's play it together. Well, what if I cut this card out? Oh no, I think you should do this. Where are we going to stay? Like, how's our hotel? Are we going to sleep 7 to a room? That's what we would do. Who's going to take the bathtub? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't buy that, right? My earliest, happiest memories of Magic are just stuff like that, like being all gross and scrungy, waking up. You didn't have time to shower because 3 other people stole it. Then you get in there, you're playing.
Magic players don't shower anyways.
Exactly. My kind of people.
Yeah.
And then you're showing up playing 8 rounds, and it's hard, it's mentally exhausting, but it's so fun to feed that competitive fire in yourself.
Right.
You're eating some garbage that they're serving you in the convention center, and you're happy about it because after your
Yes.
round, you're like, oh, listen to this horrible beat, the way this guy beat me, or whatever, or like, I can't believe I made this play, and the horrible, nasty lighting is, fluorescent
Yeah,
lighting
yeah.
is bearing down at you. You're freezing, but you're all together in this. It's like going to war.
Right.
And I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's almost like going to like summer camp. You're just like
Yeah.
you're gone. You're like you're in the mud. You come back exhausted. You're like, that was awesome.
Yes.
Like I totally appreciate that aspect of it.
And I don't get to do that anymore.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you miss it?
Absolutely. It was so much fun, that part of my
Aw.
Magic life. It really, really was. And now, it's tough, like, because I'm more on the inside,
Of course
hosting
you
the
are,
Pro
yeah.
Tour and all that kind of stuff and doing all the production that we have to do for Good Luck High Five and Commander Arcade. Like, the workload is very, very high. So it doesn't leave a lot of time for you to be like, oh, actually, I'm going to take this other weekend out of my life and devote it to
Right.
Magic, And you get older, you got more responsibilities and
Of
all that kind of
course.
thing, too.
Do you still enjoy Magic? Like, what's your relationship to actually playing Magic now? Because it's something you do professionally. Like, it's your job.
Right.
Right.
But like, how does that change your relationship with the game?
A couple of things I've noticed is one is the magic of opening a pack is much less than it was back in the day because I have such more access to it
Right.
from just working at events professionally. So you get a little jaded that way, which is kind of sad because, man, when you're a little kid and you crack a pack, it's like the best day of your life, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're chasing that magic, I think, a lot, even as adults. The amount of time that I spend creating content about magic means that my free time, sometimes I don't necessarily want to engage with it because it's more connected to work than it was in the
Right. Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, that being said, the way that I get joy from it now is a lot through playing Arena. That's kind of my number one way that I play these days. The competitive limited win-a-box tournaments, those are my jam. I'll play in those all weekend long.
That scratches the competitive itch a little bit.
Yes, precisely. I still play in every pre-release. I love pre-release events too because they're very friendly and chill. First time seeing the cards, nobody knows what's good. It's great. But there's no more Grand Prix, right? Which were held with a higher frequency than the Spotlight series are and all that kind of thing. And they're more often in easier places to get to. That is a loss for me for sure that I feel, but I've gained a lot too in being able to live in that behind the scenes world of production in running these big tournaments like the Pro Tour and World Championship.
And just having witnessed like the Spotlight series, like I said, it's the first time I'd ever seen an event like that. It's an insane amount of work. Like the number of people behind the scenes making that whole weekend work. Like, because I've done some event production, like back in my improv days, I would like run festivals, and this is just like a whole 2 orders of magnitude bigger.
Yeah, it's incredible what goes into producing even a Pro Tour. If people could see it behind the scenes, like there's a giant production truck like they have at the Super Bowl, right? With like 20 people like calling various cameras. It's an enormous production.
What made you get into standard in this part? Was it just because it was the part of the Grand Prix, or you're like, nope, this is something I like?
I played any format that if I was going to the Grand Prix, I'd play it. I played standard, modern, and limited were the 3 ones that I would go to. So it was just a matter of where we were going. I would just pick it up and learn it and play whatever format that was at the time. I don't recall specifically how I felt about playing, standard versus anything else, but I will say that constructed format, in my opinion, it is easier to do well at those events than it is in limited. Limited is extremely skill testing. There's also, of course, the variance factor, but I think it's much more skill testing than a format like standard, where you can have knowledge of your deck and of the opponent's decks inside and out, and you can practice a lot. So that's the nice upside of it, is you can become very familiar with what you're doing before you go in. But it's just not as fun.
Is part of the appeal of limited the fact that you're like, I've got no preparation, I just have to like always be ready to improvise?
Absolutely. You're an improviser, I'm an improviser. You know it. It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
A draft is actually the first format I played of Magic, which is highly unusual.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But that's how my friend taught me.
Right.
Wow.
That's how I first learned, and I utterly fall in love with it. I'm like, wait, you don't know what you're going to open and you just take one? Yeah, and then you pass and you take another one. And you're building your deck as you go, which I must say is a fantastic entry point for somebody who doesn't have a collection and wants to build it.
Right.
Now, like, shocker, I love all kinds of deck building games because it evokes the draft experience. I just immediately was just like in love with draft from the very beginning. And I wish more new players could get introduced the way that I did to fall in love with limited too, because it's such a wonderful place to start playing from the game. It gives you access to that wonder, the cracking of the packs, the not knowing where you're going, the having to make decisions on the fly and create your own, deck that you had no idea what it would be before you got in there that night. So my personal hope for Magic is that we get more limited players as time goes on.
See, it's funny. I am not an improviser. I'm also horrendous at draft. I am so bad at it.
You're not that bad. It's not your strength, but you're not that bad.
Okay, hold on. At the Lorwyn pre-release, I played against someone. He was very new to Magic, and he went, I attack you with this creature. We went through damage and blocks and all that. And then he said, okay, now I attack you with this creature. And I had to be like, no, the game doesn't work that way. He beat me. I lost. Like, I'm not good at draft. I love I like standard. I like commander. I like working on a deck. Like,
you love
working in a garden.
And honing. You like a garden.
Oh,
That's a
I
great
love that.
analogy.
I don't like the here's 50 cards, make it work. I think I'm just too slow. My brain.
Here's 50 cards, make it work.
My brain can't.
Slogan for draft. No, yeah, I hear that. I hear that.
I'm very excited because this coming summer in Amsterdam, there's a pro tour for Marvel Superheroes is the set, and the top 8 is going to be draft. And it's been many, many, many years since that's been the case. So I'm super excited to see that actually happen.
And as a commentator, do you get like a vicarious thrill watching like these like amazing plays? Like, I've watched some of this stuff on stream and it's like, this is fun, but like, what is it like commentating? Because you're also having to do the job of commentary.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love seeing draft the mornings of the Pro Tour. And here's a sneaky little secret: every single person on commentary loves Limited best. Every single one.
Ah, interesting.
We are all most excited to see draft in the morning on Friday and Saturday. We're all fiends for it too. So like behind the scenes between rounds, we're all playing on Arena, you know. So, you know, we're all addicts. I admit it. And we're all playing. We love Magic, you know, and so
That's amazing.
between the rounds, we're getting more Magic in. But at the top level, yeah, I would say even most pros would probably say that Limited is their favorite format.
So then why is it not more prevalent?
Right. It's a very interesting question, and it's one that kind of perplexes me. But the answer they would give you is that the barrier to entry is high because you have to understand when you're sitting down to draft kind of what you want to do with each of the colors or how you want to construct your deck. You can go in totally blind, of course, but you're probably going to come out with a pile.
Right, that's a big disadvantage, yeah.
So that's tough. Whereas if you have a standard deck, you can take a look at it and kind of be like, I know what this deck is doing, even if I've never played it. I kind of get what the idea is. And people seem to be able to gravitate towards that a little bit more easily. With the invention of Pick 2 Draft a couple of sets ago, that's kind of, again, once an attempt, I believe, at lowering the level of entry into draft in that it's much simpler. Your deck comes together more quickly. You can do it in a commander pod. That gives me a little hope that Wizards is still like thinking, hey, this is a great format. And the people who are diehard Magic lovers, like that do the Pro Tour or whatever, the pros who've been playing for years, like this is what they love. Like, how can we get more people into accessing that love too?
I still love drafting. I'm not good at it. And I've just accepted that.
You're allowed to love things you're not good at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's just fascinating. This whole other ecosystem of competitive Magic just fascinates me. Part of the reason I don't get involved with competitive Magic is there's a switch in me that if it turned on, I would not be able to turn off very easily. And then I would just go down this black hole. And so I'm like, okay, I know what's good for me is to not go near this. And so that's part of it. But also it's fascinating, this whole competitive world about a game.
Yeah.
So here in Montreal, there are, I believe, 3 former world Scrabble champions who are based out of Montreal.
Yeah.
And so the Montreal Scrabble Club is actually like one of like a real like world class Scrabble club. And I went once. I went to like one of my friends who plays there. He has attended World Scrabble Championships. He brought me to it. And I'm passable at Scrabble. I'm okay at Scrabble. I'm obviously nowhere near this like world class. But just the idea of applying this kind of like hyper competitive mentality and what like discipline and engagement and love of something that it takes to be that competitive, it just fascinates me about us as, you know, humans, that we can get so focused on things and be like, all right, I'm just going to be really gosh darn good at this.
I'm a big standard player, and I've gone in and out of being really competitive about it. At my peak, I was in the top couple thousand. I peaked at like 107th, I think, was like the best I've ever did. And I feel like I was at the precipice of being competitive about it. It gave me some insight into what I would need to do to get better. And I kind of decided, I was like, nah, I don't need to do this. I'm good. But it did give me some idea. It went from being like knowing my deck really well to knowing every deck really well.
Right.
And I was just like, I can't get all the wild cards to do this without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month. And I just kind of decided,
there's an investment of time and energy that goes into that level of competition at any level and anything that you do.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Hey man, if you draft a lot, you'll always have the wild cards. That's all I have to say.
This is what Neil and I have been talking about, like, because I only play limited. I'm like a limited fiend on Arena, whereas Neil does all the constructive stuff, and I always half joke with him, like, we should just share.
I know.
An
account.
I'm always starved for wild cards. Always.
And I've got like more wild cards than I'll ever know what to do.
I should start a charity with my number of wild cards that I have.
Yeah.
Oh my
You should be able to just give them away. Like, just let me transfer them to Neil.
They got to make their money.
They got to make their money, I guess. But yeah, I much prefer limited. I love cubes. I love pre-releases. I love quick draft and best of 3 and all of that good stuff. It's my favorite way to play Magic.
So maybe it's just content creators, but I notice a big overlap in improv comedy and Magic people. There's, I think Rachel Weeks from the Command Zone is a big improviser. I think other people on the Command Zone as well. I mean, Good Luck High Five is improvisers.
Yeah. Loading Ready Run, a lot of those members.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Yeah, it's like.
So what do you think is the connection there, Maria?
Improvisers are not worried about looking stupid, right? And I feel like, it's a lot better nowadays, but even, a few years ago, there's still a stigma about like, oh, if you play Magic, that's dumb. It's a nerd hobby or whatever. And we just don't have any time for that. Like, we chase joy, and we are not afraid of chasing it because we know that's where the true living happens, right? We just have no fear in pursuing the things that light up our lives. And Magic is something that some people will judge you on the outside for. It's, like I said, it's a lot better now, but I think as improvisers just don't care. And we're like, nope, this is great, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to celebrate that.
I agree with that.
A great outlook.
I think part of it too, just thinking about it now, I think part of it is there's some of the buttons that get pushed in my brain when I'm improvising, which is kind of being super attentive to what's happening, finding the fun thing to do or the interesting thing to do, and constantly just being like, oh, this is a brand new situation. What do I do here? And then finding like a playful way to engage. Oh, what if I try this? What if I do that? The idea of an infinite possibility that anything can happen kind of situation is super appealing to me. And there's like a lack of fear of failure. Like whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen, kind of win or lose, or if a scene is good or bad, I'm still going to enjoy the process of it and not necessarily the result. And I think that kind of tickles my part over my brain of like,
perhaps a Magic game is like an improv scene. We don't know how it's going to end, and we have to constantly adapt every single turn and every single draw with our decision making. It's not like chess where you can read a book and then just memorize moves from 50 years ago that you're going to play. You have to constantly be coming up with new unique strategies based on how the board state changes from minute to minute.
Totally. I mean, you're improvising in both. Yeah, it's that working in the unknown that brings me a lot of joy.
I guess in Limited, you have that uncertainty of where it's going to go.
Even more uncertainty.
And then even in a Commander game, there is a collective feeling that you're trying to make a good game. You're not just trying to win.
Hopefully, and you're playing with your friends. Yeah,
that's what we say at Commander Arcade. Is exactly that. Is our game is an improv scene.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Yeah, because you want everyone to have a good time.
Yes.
One of the observations I have about working with Vinny, doing a podcast is
it's out of your wheelhouse.
It's out of my wheelhouse. I've never done anything that's like performative in this way. And I can see that Vinny loves to set up a joke or a situation or a comment. I'll record and I'll be like, oh, I had that great one-liner. And then I listen to it again like 5 times in editing. And I'm like, oh, Vinny saw that whole thing. He set up the whole scene. Like he said something adjacent so that I would think of it and say the joke.
Well, that might be giving me too much credit, but it is one of the central tenets of improv is like make everyone look good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You want everyone to look great. So what's next for Maria? What magic mountains remain unclimbed for you?
Oh, wow. Gosh. I'm just happy to keep holding on to the bull. That's the way I think about it.
Yeah.
As a content creator, that's really all you've got is you just hang on for dear life as long as you can. And at some point, you're going to get thrown. And it's not going to be your decision, probably,
Right.
It's either the audience or your employer, who's, in this case, Wizards or whatever, you just got to keep rolling with the punches. So my goal is just hanging on to that bull as long as I can. And hopefully while I'm on it, making a positive difference in the Magic community for the future and giving people a good time while I'm here too. I love hosting the Pro Tour, the World Championship, being around competitive players at that level. Commander Arcade's been around just for 2 years. We're still a baby, but I love that channel that we've made and put our hearts into, and it's kind of like my art when I make an episode of that. And so I love sharing that art with the world, that improv scene, if you will, with the world, and having people have a good reaction to it is really one of my most favorite things. So I just want to keep hanging on and see what we can do. Magic is changing and growing in ways that are incredibly exciting. The game is bigger than ever before.
It's bananas.
I can only like dream of still being a part of this world in a few years when it goes to new stratospheric heights, you know.
Well, it's very clear that, you know, Good Luck High Five, Commander Arcade, and all the work that you do is done with a lot of love and care and craft. And
yeah.
It's really appreciated.
And it is super positive. When I always feel good after I listen to Good Luck High Five. Yeah. I've been a fan of it for years. I've been a patron for years. And it's always a good time. You're always so positive. And yeah, it's
big shout out.
We just want to give back some of the joy Magic has given us to people too. Yeah. And we're just a bunch of dorks, and we're put on this earth to make people laugh. And so I hope that we can do that for others.
Success. Check.
Yeah, I think you've already done a lot of that for sure.
Keep it up. Long may you reign.
Well, thank you. I would love to.
I think we can wrap it up there. Thanks so much for joining us today, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been delightful.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. All right. Well, Neil, that's another amazing guest on a great conversation. Yeah, and if the listeners have not yet, they should really go check out Good Luck High Five. Oh, please do. Yeah, Good Luck High Five and Commander Arcade. Awesome. Both they're just so fun and charming and entertaining and so well put together. Yeah. Again, it's like a Pro Tour event. Like, it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make things look that good. Like, it's really easy if you're just like, oh, I watched this thing. But if you start noticing like all of the work, prep, and care that goes into it, it's like, yeah, they're good at what they do. I work very hard to make us look good. Yeah. Or sound good. You have to work very hard. Yeah, also they've done 600. That's bananas. What are they, 680 something? It might as well be 6,080. Like, it's a lot of it. Yeah, they're closing in on 700. We're on like 18 or 19. We're closing in on 17. Yeah. No, we think we just done had 17 just went out. Yeah, we're getting there. I think we should wrap this up. All right, another one in the books. You can find us on Blue Sky and YouTube as Untapped Libraries, as well as Moxfield, where all of our guest deck lists are available, including this one. Our music is by Sparkling Water. You can find all of their music wherever you get your streams. Untapped Libraries is a proud part of the PodCavern network found at podcavern.com. If you have any questions, comments, or pictures of Bogles, we can reach us at untappedlibraries@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and keep building.
Have you ever seen those lists on the internet that's like top 5 sandwich toppings, top 5 movies of the year, top 5 celebrities who have a very punchable face? You know what I'm talking about. The point is, all these lists drive us crazy because we have no idea who made them and how they even narrowed down their top 5 list. That's where my podcast comes in. My name is Tung La, and I am the host of Ranked, top 5 lists of stuff that don't matter. In every episode, with the help of a motley crew of self-proclaimed experts, we debate, battle, and work together, showing you the entire process of how we got there, to create a top 5 list of any and every topic we can think of, like top 5 brunch menu items, top 5 fictional dogs, top 5 90s songs, top 5 Steves? The list goes on, and we will not rest till we rank basically everything. So join us every second Thursday in the Pod Cavern for Ranked, top 5 lists of stuff that don't matter.
Top 5, top 5, top 5.